Good morning, good morning, good morning. Rise and shine, rise and shine. Welcome, 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 welcome. Hope you all are doing well. I am Angelica with In God's Timing. I decided to make this video to do a follow-up in reference to the impact that I just previously had. So I'm going to share some of my experiences throughout the process up until that day. And also just along this journey, some of the things I learned and from business and just different things I want to share with you all this morning. For those of you that are new to my channel, I basically talk about real experiences that I've had, encounters related to everyday things that we deal with on a daily basis or throughout our lives, and I correlated the scripture in this transitioning of becoming an entrepreneur. Something that God gave me, placed in my heart. He gave me vision back in 2019, and I just been going with the flow ever since. So let's jump right on into it. So some of you that know, I had a event this past Saturday, November the 13th, called The Impact, where basically I had my first event where I did community outreach, giving away free new and gentle clothes, shoes, toys, all kinds of goodies and different things. Had different people come out and support and help, just building up our community and learning to get out. This is something that God had placed on my mind and in my heart October the 3rd. And I actually had the event Saturday, this past Saturday. So with God know how I am, okay, he gave me some time, gave me a little over a month, to plan, to go through different obstacles, to different lessons as far as the business aspect, because he already knew that it was going to be different, and it is different. So as I mentioned to many people within God's timing, my boss and my owner, who I give accountability to or an account to, is Jesus Christ. Okay, God is my boss, and really many of us, he's everybody's boss because he's King of Kings. He's supreme. So he just gives it in a different way where we can actually see and understand through using in God's timing. Because a lot of times it's easier for us to say things, but when you actually experience it, as far as our understanding, that's what he does. He gives us things in a way that we can understand a little bit better. So even throughout this journey, I've been feeling like even like it's like a documentary, like of my life and the transitioning and the transparency of different things that I've encountered or dealt with, and even just flowing into the business aspect of it. So some of the things that I even learned throughout starting this business and different things. And a lot of times we feel like we're just supposed to know things by default, or people expect you just to figure it out. I learned a lot of that. People talk that talk, but they don't walk that walk. From the aspect of, when you're seeking help or guidance, we all need help in different areas, as far as understanding how to learn how to handle business, just different functionings and different things. But we have so many people that feel like they know everything, or they choose not to help anybody. And I've learned that sharing is caring. You don't know everything. All of us have to learn. You still need to be teachable, and know that you need insight from different areas as far as help throughout your journey or your progress throughout the process of a business, period, or even throughout life. You need help and guidance throughout your journey. And many times we have a lot of people in society and connected to us and around us that they are more so about me and mine, or if they see you seriously trying to do something, they don't want to help. But one thing I do know is, even though God may send people or send you to people for help, if they choose not to help you, he'll send someone else. Okay, he'll send someone else. So don't take it to heart. Don't take it, take it as a learning experience. And that's what I've been learning to do. Learning to take things as a learning experience, correct it, grow from it. Don't allow it to deter me from what I need to do, as far as in my journey and my process throughout this business and just throughout my life and functioning or whatever. So with the impact, I'm gonna talk about the exact event first. So I recognized three people, and even when he gave me, when I'm talking about God, when he gave me this idea or put this in my heart to have this event, he gave it to me in pieces. He didn't give it to me all at one time. Like I said, he gave it to me October 3rd. So when he gave it to me, it was like little bit by little bit that he gave it to me. And the first person that he gave me in reference to recognizing in memory of was a gentleman named Brother Dwight Johnson. And a lot of times we will meet people directly or indirectly. So he's someone that I met through my mother and some other people that I know. And when I first met him, we clashed a little bit, but we were very similar. He was very blunt, very sweet, well dressed. That's one of the biggest things I remember about him. But he was stayed clean from head to toe. But great personality, spoke his mind, but he had a kind heart, loving heart. He didn't mind giving, helping. And I remember he used to always, around his birthday in December, he would always collect Toys for Tots, and give out toys, from different people from either church, would donate and support people that he knew, that he was in connection to, giving back to the community. And I said, that's one of the things that I really liked about him. And then just his authentic spirit, very sincere. And he was one of those ones that had my back behind the scene. It makes a difference in how people impact your life, knowingly and unknowingly. Those subtle things, those little things that we kind of take for granted sometimes, or people will overlook, taking your niceness for weakness. Those ones that have a big heart. And like I said, he was there for me, with my kids, supporting me, when I needed help. Just a blessing in my life. And, he was there when I first started coming out with the vision, as far as before I actually really stepped out by faith. He was one of those behind the scene people that supported me and believed in me. But he's no longer here. So I wanted to make sure I recognized him, because he told me, he said, Angelica, it all sounds good, but you need to follow through with it. So that's what I liked about him. He was blunt. He told it like it, like it is, but it was all out of love. So he was one of the gentlemen that I recognized. And like I said, did it in memory of. The second one that came to me, and like I said, the Lord gave this to me in pieces, these three people that I recognized and did it in memory of, was my cousin, Reginald Howard. Okay. And we're first cousins. Okay. He's actually no longer here either. He passed away. I'm not sure how many years ago it was, but it's been some time now. And he was murdered due to gun violence. But he was another one that had an impact in my life. And like I said, people can impact you directly or indirectly. But he had such a loving heart too, very giving. He always, was family oriented, loved family. He had a silly personality. But I learned so much from him, even being observant, learning street smarts and different things, being observant, how to treat people, loyalty, just different things that I learned from him, indirectly, because somebody's always watching. Okay, somebody is always watching. So we have to remember that even when we have our children around different people, or even us, everything is taught and learned, whether it's good or bad. So we have to learn to take each and every experience as a learning lesson, to allow it to help us to correct things, to grow, and how we treat other people. Because we don't know how things can affect those. And we want to impact people in a good way. So anyways, like I said, great heart, big heart, love people, always around many different people. And I experienced a lot of things as far as him just learning from different aspects, even with men. And it makes a difference. And the third one was my grandmother. She's still alive. I did it honoring my grandmother, Lily Howard, who had a grand impact on my life. One of those ones, how our grandmas is. I say I'm my grandma's favorite, but my grandma was always one that was there for me too. She let me get away with stuff that my mama didn't let me get away with. My grandma was one of those ones back in the neighborhood. She fed everybody. Everybody was always welcome to her home. Just as a whole, how she impacted so many different people's lives, not only her family, but friends, people in church, just different people around her. And even, like I said, just supporting, going above and beyond to be there for other people. And it was in her, so I wanted to make sure that I recognized her. And like I said, the Lord gave this to me in pieces, giving people their flowers while they're living. Don't wait till they're gone to say thank you or I appreciate you. And I have not met yet, not one person that is perfect. So everybody that I've met, for the most part, they're not perfect. They're imperfect, just like me. Okay. The only perfect person is Jesus Christ. And even though I may have not seen him with my natural eyes, but the encounters that I have had with him are the realest. So people even wonder how, um, let me say it like this. I was taught and learned loyalty before I even, I guess, was able to express loyalty to other people. So I saw, and what is loyalty? It's faithfulness, true-hearted, sincere. You know, your heart right. Okay, you do things because you really care, not because you're just doing it just to be doing it, even when you don't feel like it. Kind of like unconditional love. That's what God has given me time after time. But that's what I experienced through some of my upbringing and growing up, and not in perfection. Okay, through family, through people having my back, through seeing it through my grandmother. You know, people just I had encounters with, and then even me displaying qualities and characteristics of being loyal. Okay, that's not an easy thing to have, because many people say they loyal and they riders and all that, but when it actually counts the most, we see how much people really aren't there for you. How they may have just been there for to use you, to manipulate you, or even just because they're just straggling along. But that's one of the reasons why a lot of the encounters that I have with different people. So let me say it like this: the impact happened before the impact. So as I said, I just had a example of the live impact as far as outreach and community outreach, and different things. But the impact happened before the impact. So what I mean is that is as far as meeting people that impacted my life, on different levels, me impacting other people's life on different levels, whether it was good or bad. I told you we have to learn from all different experiences that we have, and either let it shape us or let it change us and break us. So the different people that I've come and encountered with, over my life, throughout my life, how God will use your life as a learning tool, okay, for different experiences, different relationships, encounters. So it's things that impact us in a good way, and it's things that impact us in a negative way. And the visual, sometimes y'all know my phone like to cut off when I get to doing these. I don't take it. We keep it moving. We keep it moving. We just start back up. But anyways, how many times we can impact people's lives in a negative way or a good way, and we can choose to allow it to shape and mold us, and it affects us. It's power and influence. It's power in the things that we do, the things that we say, the things that we're around, our environment. There's so many things that can impact how we function and how we think. So many times, from me being impacted from so many people, the first lessons that I started recognizing that God allowed me to see through Him teaching me was I would recognize from people that looked just like me, as far as my Black folk that would be going through stuff, had hurt and pain. I was going through stuff. So then it was like we could identify or relate to different conversations or things, similarities that we went through in our lives. And then we would begin to build relationships through maybe whether it was hanging out or just talking, conversating, or whatever. I began to see characteristics of similar things that I had. But like I said, I was already loyal before I was loyal. Sometimes we have characteristics and we display things that we don't even realize we already doing or we're really already working in. So I mentioned before that I was working before I was already working. So even though we've seen the natural aspect of using myself as an example, the transparency part of me even starting in God's timing and beginning outreach and beginning to partner with different people, I was already working. So God will use every aspect of your life to clean you up and send you out. And He uses it in a way that you can be of a benefit and be effective in everything that you do. And that's my biggest goal. I want to be effective in everything that I do, because a lot of the people that I've met and had encounters with, like I said, we were drawn to each other because of similar qualities, similar things that we went through, similar struggles, similar issues. So then we began to recognize that when I needed somebody, some of those, and they weren't always Christian, they weren't perfect. Like I said, I don't meet all perfect people. None of us do. Okay. So in our imperfections, they saw me for me. Okay. And vice versa. So that was the good ones and the bad ones. Okay. So with doing that, when I would have relationships of, I was more of a lender than a borrower, but I have borrowed before. So when I say giving examples of loyalty, when somebody needed something and I had it, I would let them get it. Let them borrow it. Now we had some that had that block. You know how folks do. They don't give you stuff back or give you money back or stuff like that. But you learn from it. Okay, we learn from a timely manner, communicate. Okay. It's been times when people may have needed me, may have needed a ride, may have needed help or something, just because that was me. Okay. Not saying that we have to get to a point too, we don't let people use us and abuse us, but how can you want people to support you or be there for you when you don't even do it for them? So a lot of times we have people that they expect and they say, I'm loyal and I'm a rider and all this other stuff. But throughout your life, you haven't even displayed those characteristics. You've really been more of a user. So when I even had the impact the event or different things that I've experienced, when people began to support or even just be involved from all over out the blue, or even just people that I've met, it was because of already showing loyalty, already having a good heart, already displaying me being me. This is probably one of the best jobs I ever had where you can be yourself. Because sometimes when you get a job or you be around people, you to a certain extent, you can't even be yourself. You gotta do too much, and I don't care for that. I said that's the thing about it. Even throughout this process, what I've learned, even with having the impact, I had to check people a few times, because you know how sometimes you'll be around people, whether it be family, friends, and they think they know you, and you think you know them, and you would think that they would be able to, okay, well, I know she's got that block. She's a little special. As I told you, I'm drawn to special people. And you can use it in whatever context you want to use it in. So some people should know you by now. It's amazing how you could be in a relationship with people, friends with people, family, or whatever, and they don't know you as much as they think they do. And then even sometimes with people that may not even know you as long can really kind of feel you, you vibe, and they kind of see you a little bit more. So that can happen. So I had to reel some people back in, because it's important when you start a business to stick to your vision. I take suggestions, I take advice, I take counsel. But at the end of the day, I have to stick to the vision that God gave me. And it's so easily to be distracted or deterred because of so many voices or people saying you should do this or you should do that. You wanted to look like this. And at the end of the day, I had to explain to people more than one time, I'm not doing this for people. Even though what I'm doing may bless people, there's a need or whatever, I'm doing this because God gave it to me to do it. So I'm gonna do it how He told me to do it. So as I become, continue to grow and move, like I said, taking suggestions and advice and different things, don't allow people to deter you from what your calling, your purpose is, because it's so easy to be distracted. Stick to the course, to the plan of what your vision is and what you should be doing, and stay committed and following through. It's easier said than done. Easier said than done. So yes, a few times I had to reel go back in that no, we're not gonna do that, because that's not either my style, that's not my thing. I know how different people do stuff, but we're gonna stick to what I'm gonna do. And some people were taken back a little bit. Tell me a few times to shut your mouth, hush your mouth. I won't know. I don't say bridezilla, but I was adamant about I wasn't playing about staying focused, because at the end of the day, even though you may listen to other people, you have to give an account. So as an example, with my business and in God's timing, we hold a standard. Okay. I don't care what other people do, what other people may choose to do. But as far as me and my business, we're going to hold a standard, not in perfection. Okay. Because I'm learning as I go. Okay. Through different things. But at the same time, if too many people get involved, it gets messy. So I had to reel a few people back in, letting them know this not about you. And it's not about me either. It's about what God is doing in this movement and through my business, and how He's growing it, and in the process. So making sure you're keeping your eyes focused on what your assignment is and what you're doing, because it is easy for people to, take you off track and stuff or whatever. So what is impact? And I don't own the definitions of any of these. I don't own the rights to any of these definitions. Anything that I say, do your research. Y'all already know. Okay. So what is an impact? Impact is a strong effect on someone or something. Some examples are influence, shape, control, sway, or decide. So when I say impact, and like I said, on someone or something, many people, like I said, indirectly or directly have impacted our lives. Okay. We don't realize how much we can positively or negatively impact people. Okay. Sometimes people leave a bad taste in your mouth, just by how they carry themselves, how they act, how they talk. I told you throughout my life and throughout this process, God was dealing with me. First with my attitude, with my actions. my life, choices that I was making that was leading me down the wrong path. And he began to teach me through different life situations, different experiences and encounters, through jobs, different things. The second definition of impact is the action of one object coming forcibly into contact with another, such as a collision, a crash, different things. So it just depends on the context that you use as far as impact. So many of us have been impacted by traumatic experiences, hurt and pain that have affected how we think, how we function, how we move in life, our relationships, how we parent, just so many broad aspects on our jobs, just so many different things, how it can impact us. So that's the thing when I mean, when I say, when we have to look at the context of something that we're using. Okay, because some things, like I said, can be taken out of context, but then we have to look at it how the person is using it in a sentence, in a scenario, in a situation, versus overthinking and overanalyzing. Because many times we overthink stuff and we overanalyze so much, and it'd be too deep, it'd be too much. And a lot of the stuff that, as far as what God has been giving me, getting back to the basics. We went too far left. Like I said, sometimes we go too far and we have to reel it back in, because then it brings so much confusion, like what we're seeing now. And the thing about it, like I said, just with the impact of so many different things, when I've met people, and that's okay, thank you, Holy Spirit, as far as my own people. So I started recognizing, like I said, and meeting different people from different backgrounds, different environments, as far as the Black culture, okay, that I could relate to, identify with. Some of them I clash with. Come on, we're talking about the impact that I clash with, that we didn't vibe, we didn't click. And recognizing too, like, just certain things that I would see on a continuous, because some stuff that I did myself, on top of some things that I was seeing other people. So I recognize it, as far as nasty attitudes, how we judge a book by its cover, how we were so quickly, as Black folk, treat each other wrong, okay? Just because of how each other looks. Some being, what they say, bougie, think you better than other people. We would do it in family, through work, co-workers, out, stores, restaurants, whatever it is. And I started recognizing, what I was seeing. And I'm like, okay, Lord, this is special. Like, this is, it's irritating. It gets frustrating. So he allowed me to see and recognize it so I can identify it. But at the same time, as he was teaching me, don't treat them wrong. Don't do them how they do you. Okay. Because I even became friends with different people um, through different seasons of my life. And like I said, sometimes I feel like a documentary or like a movie. And some of y'all might feel like that, where you have people that have different episodes in your life and different seasons, key people in different seasons of your life, and some you may grow apart, you might still be in contact, be on Facebook or something like that, but then you kind of grow apart because, we mature, we grow, life happens. Sometimes you end bad, sometimes you don't. But it's like your own personal life story that we all encounter and have, that people have impacted us. So with that happening, we end up seeing that we've had so many different relationships. And if we allow ourselves to be impacted in a positive way, it can shape and mold us. Because a lot of us have had a lot of negative influences, and it starts at home first. Okay, it starts at home first, but then once we even get out, different things that we encounter through school, relationships, and so forth. But as I was saying, the different things that we have to understand is how you want to be an impact on somebody. Because a lot of times people don't even care. That's the part that I've been realizing, that we become so selfish and self-absorbed. Um, and as a whole, as far as my Black folk, I've noticed that we overcompensate. And I know many people do it, but right now I'm talking about my people. And I'm going to get on other folk. Don't worry about that. But we overcompensate, or we overdo it. Okay, like, we are talented, gifted, smart, beautiful, so many other things, but we overcompensate. And it's like I said, everything is taught and learned. So where do we get it from? So a lot of this dysfunctional stuff, or just the way we think or move, it was taught and learned through society, through our environments, upbringing, so many different ways we're influenced. So then when we have characteristics that we see, or characteristic flaws through people and how they treat each other, it's the same stuff over and over again. like that's happening. And some people are exactly when you see them, they act exactly how they look. But then some people, it's actually different. That's why I say don't judge a book by its cover. Because I met some people where we assume they'll be one way, but then when you actually get to know them, they really down to earth. They cool. We just got issues. We got that block. Some of us are very special. But then too, when you've been brought up in a society and a world that has basically put you on the back burner for so long, that has put you in a mindset that you'll never be anything, or you have to work extra hard to get this. You're not treated the same. You can't do what everybody else does and get away with it. As far as my Black folk, making things harder, more obstacles, it does make a difference. It makes a difference how you function, how you think. Plus, when you add in so many other things, the environment, your where you live, your oppression, broken homes, all that stuff plays a part in how we treat each other, how we even think, how we do business. Okay. So how so many of us will even say when I'm even learning, but I choose to I don't say pick my battles, but learn and grow from it. How some people will not even do business with other Black folk, and then some of them will. It just depends because of how you respond, how you do people. So we have to learn how to handle our business, how we treat people, okay? How we treat each other, okay? You want support, you want people to support your business. You got to be mindful how you carry yourself. You got to be mindful how you treat your people, okay? We have to support each other, okay? But that takes learning and growth, separating stuff, separating your personal stuff from your business stuff, okay? Not letting it outpour and flow into everything, because then it looks toxic and it affects your business, okay? So that's one of the big things that I saw too, that how some people overcompensate, even just doing too much. The event that I had, this first event, was simple. God gave me simple, keep it nice, have it decently and done decently in order, but keep it simple. You can do a little, can go a long way. Okay, balling on the budget. You don't have to have. I didn't have no acrobats. It wasn't no circus. It wasn't all of that, because sometimes we overdo it. Give an example. Like with birthday parties. The child may can't even walk yet, but because I did it. For my oldest, my baby, end up having horses and all kind of extra stuff. And the child, really, what they say, the party is for the parent. It's not even for the child. So we end up overdoing stuff. It's nothing wrong with having stuff and wanting to do stuff, but when you start to take it too far, it gets messy. They end up spending too much money and you end up in debt. So just being realistic in that. You don't have to overdo it for people. Do it because you want to do it and you want to have an impact and be effective in a positive way. Get your heart right. Get your motives right. You don't have to do stuff in a way to people please. And that's what I was seeing with some of the people around me, even though they weren't saying it, their actions were that way. And that's why I said I had to reel it back in. We're not going to go too far and do too less. I said, the scripture that came to my mind is, if I draw men, I be lifted up. But if you draw men, you be lifted up. So who's doing the drawing? Okay. So many times we're trying to draw people in, or want people to come to our events, want people to support, and we're having to do too much. Even in relationships or any aspect of life of that, you don't have to do all that, whether it be your dress, whatever it is, it's broad. You can fill in the blanks. We go too far sometimes as people. And then when you do that, in order to keep it, it's like you're going to always have to do that. Basically go too far just for people to come to your stuff or people to support you. And you don't have to overcompensate in that way. Work while you wait. Okay. While you're working, wait. Okay. It's a lot of things that we want to do. It's a lot of things that we want to what is it? Fulfill as far as commitments, things I want to do. I stay in my lane and I stick to what I need to do. Okay. Because like I said, as you're learning, as you're growing in business, even for me, like I said, I'm learning as I go, and God does it in a direct and indirect way. You learn as you go that, like I said, people, everybody's different. Everybody's responses are different. It's going to be different. So teaching me to learn to guard my heart and not take everything so deep. Okay. We have to learn, correct and grow. Okay. Many times we don't want to take the lessons and learn the lessons. Y'all bear with me because I ain't even gonna lie. I pushed our person to do this video. I told you, learn as we go, stepping outside of your comfort zone and different things like that. But God will give provision for the vision. So he allowed me to even see through starting this event and having the previous event that I had, that when I listen to him and follow through and stick to what he gave me, I had people that wanted to do food trucks, people that wanted to donate stuff. I had people from different businesses sponsoring, wanting to help and just do all these different things. So he showed me and allowed me to see with my natural eyes that he will give provision for the vision, but still stick to what I gave you. Sometimes we can't move too fast or do too much too quick because it can get overwhelming. And then not only that, all help is not good help. All money is not good money. And I'm not for sale. I can't be bought. I look, Jesus already paid the price for me when he died on the cross for my sins. So I'm not for sale. So I choose not to compromise or settle for certain things. So if it's not up to a standard or up to par as far as what God would have me to do, I tell people no, thank you. I'm okay. And like I said, folk be a little taken back by it. I had to even get to a point, the real folk in, where I saw people having that a lot of that takeover spirit. Okay, where they want to take over. I want control. I'm be honest, want control. And that's the part that's something else, because you look for help and you're seeking guidance or whatever, but then it gets to a point where people just want to be in control of everything. They want to tell. That's the part where I have to pump the brakes on it, because it gets to a point where people, like I said, they be doing too much. You're doing too much. So now it's like, what are your motives? Okay, because I'm starting to see that more people are wanting to, I'll be honest, kind of like gods. Like some people say, I guess I'm starting to see even more that not only wanting control, but they want power and authority. So it's like a power thing. Okay. Everybody wants to say, I did this or I did that. And that's sometimes why God will remove people from your life or move them out the way or put them at a distance, because he wants all the glory at the end of the day. Everything that I do, everything that we do, God is supposed to get the glory in it, right? Not man, not me, and not people. So when people motives begin to get shifted, and their heart gets to get a little off, and it starts to be more about them and what they did, because sometimes people say, I made you, or I did this and I did that. But God may have sent you as a help, not for you to take clout and control over anything. So at the end of the day, like I tell people, God is in control. So I try to make sure I stick to what he gives me, but not only that, stay humble. Okay, stay humble, because we know so quick, so many folk can be bought, or people can deter how they move. They want it, depending on how people respond to situations, that is how people will respond back. So if it's a lot of people watching and they see people looking, then they'll put on a show. They'll put on for the people. I don't want to have to play with that. I don't want to do that. So when people's motives start to get wrong, sometimes God will move people out the way, because now it's all about them instead of about the movement, about the business, or what God is doing in this season, in this time, whether it be your business and your life and your family, your growth, your progress, whatever it is. He'll have to start moving people out the way, because now they want the praise. They want the admiration. They want the clout. They want to, show that we did this and we did that. And I personally don't care for those type of people around me. If you want all the praise and the glory, now you're indirectly even noticing that you think you are God. They think that now you think you bigger than everybody else. You think you're better than everybody else. And I don't care to associate too close with people like that. I love them from a distance, but that's the wrong aroma that you're sending off to people in these times and in this season. So many of the people that I met from so many different backgrounds, and like I said, first and foremost, I was talking about my people, okay, because it's time, okay? It's time for us to grow. It's time for us to eat. It's time for us to have generational wealth, breaking generational curses. The ones that God is pushing out, cleaning up and pushing out, they're different, okay? We're not doing things as business as usual. And I had a cousin that told me that came down to support and and help and support or whatever. And she said something that tickled me, but I had to laugh at it at the same time. So when her and her family came to visit whatever, she was telling me, she was like, yeah, she's gonna be preaching and she's got a ministry and all this other stuff. And I said, well, wait a minute, where'd that come from? I said, this was a outreach, what is it, event, given to the community and stuff like that. And I said, it is a form of ministry. It is. It just looked differently as far as the business. But I'm just like, sometimes people will have their ideal things of what you're doing, but it is ministry. It just looks different. That's the thing. We've done so many things business as usual, even in church. Business as usual, how we do things. And now God is putting a little spin on it, but it's still the same. Look, don't go too deep with it. He's just doing a different thing in a new season, but it's still all the same intentions. It's still his will. It's still his purpose, because we've done so many things the same where it brought about a lot of confusion and different things. So he just cleaning us up and sending us out. So as I said, the takeover spirit, many people had that takeover spirit. So we have to pray about that, pray for those people, whether it be in the church realm, or whether it be family or whoever. We have to learn to recognize things for exactly what it is. Okay, we see that throughout life in different situations. We've seen it on the job. We see it everywhere. So, like as I said, I had encounters with and recognize things first with my people. Different things that I was recognizing, and then two, drawn to certain people from my culture, from my race, that we can identify with stuff. Certain things hurt. We were dealing with pain. We could relate to, identify with. And just grew or whatever. But then he allowed me to encounter with different people from other different races, other cultures that were hurting too. So then I realized it wasn't just me and it wasn't just my people. It's everybody hurting. Everybody goes through stuff, whether regardless of race, color, culture, whatever it is, we all go through things. But as far as the impact is different. Okay. How we're affected as Black folk is different from how somebody white might be affected, or Puerto Rican or whatever. It is different based on your environment, the consequences, everything. It is different. And I've had to have those, black, white girl conversations with some of the girls that I know that, certain things that you just don't do, certain things that you just don't say. So we have to get to a point where we respect each other in our differences and our similarities, because we get to a point so much that we will stereotype because of society and the world and put everybody in that small little box. But we are all different. But at the same time, remembering that we're still human. We still have feelings. We still go through things, regardless of how things affect us or impact us. It's life, okay? So don't continue to judge people according to what you see on the outside, because there's good and bad in every race, every culture, every religion, whatever you want to, it's good and bad in everything. But we continue to put people in that little box, and then we treat everybody as a whole because of maybe one bad experience. Remember I told you, like, some people leave a bad taste in your mouth. But because of that one person left a bad taste in your mouth, or that restaurant, you don't want to try no more. You don't want to deal with no more. Just know that it was that person. The next person you may have an encounter with may be nothing like that person you just met. So you have to learn from that and continue to grow, okay? Even though you could have a group of people that may be like that, that still does not speak for the whole. Everybody is different as an individual, okay? So that's one of the big key things we have to learn from. Also, that many of the things that we experience in our families and upbringings, it contributes to how we function and how we move. We've seen a lot of where you have women as the matriarchs, and we've put more women on a pedestal. Let's keep it all the way 100. So we've had so much out of order things taking place from generation to generation, from where men and women have already been out of order before we even saw this transparent deep level of it now, as far as out of order. And that's what God is doing. He's restoring things back to order, restoring his church, restoring homes back to order. Okay, because so much dysfunction has come from things being out of order. And I said a lot of it comes from, yes, our own personal issues and things like that too. But then a lot of things that it has come from too is this system, this dysfunctional system. It's like somebody we've seen a lot of, somebody caused the problem but then you got the solution, but you caused the problem. That's ironic, right? So we see a lot of that, how we live in a world and a society that has actually helped cause the problem, but then you have solutions for everything. Okay, so examples: poverty, you help cause the problem; oppression, um, what is it? The prison industrial system. Come on, Holy Spirit, give it to me how you give it to me. Um, so many different division. Okay, the racist rants and stuff. You know, basically starting a fire and then trying to go and put it out, but you started the fire. You could take that on different levels, different things that we're experiencing. You help cause the problem, but then you got all these solutions. But then it's like throwing a rock and putting your hand behind your back so nobody see you through it. But when you throw so many rocks, at some point, I'm gonna see your hand. Okay. So now we see in the hand behind a lot of this stuff that we're experiencing, or the exposure that we've had. But then still taking into consideration, we still have a part to play in it. Because even though we know the system, we know the government, we know all these different things have had a hand to play in a lot of the dysfunction, the division, with the spirit behind it, this demonic system, okay, we still have to take responsibility for our part, because this is one of the things that I saw even with the business aspect. How can we grow in business as far as my people when we can't even help our own communities? You know, we support everybody else's community. We support every other race, every culture, buying up everything, supporting the music industry, supporting this with clothes, the hair stores, all these other places. But then we can't support each other. And I get it to a certain extent, you know, because we little dusty, we got that block. You know, we are special. And literally we are in different ways. We're special, you know, but at the same time, don't disown all your people. Okay. You see other different races and cultures where they stand by and stick with their people. But we're the most divided as far as Black folk. We're the most divided. And that's not by coincidence. That was orchestrated. Like I said, everything is taught and learned. So we end up adapting certain characteristics and qualities that we've gotten or that we've been taught through indirect and direct places, teachings, circumstances, experiences. So when we begin to recognize these things, we have to correct it, because we have to think about it. These things are affecting our children. They're affecting us, our families, how we think, how we function. It's affecting our lives. Okay. Like I said, it hurts my heart to keep seeing so many of us that keep getting murdered or going through stuff or dysfunctional. Like I've told somebody, Black folk are not the face of sin. We are not the face of what they say, so many different stereotypes that they put on the forefront in the face of social media, in the face of news, in the face of so many different things. I'm not saying that this stuff some of it isn't true, but like I said, every race, every culture has stuff that's going on. But if you have not noticed, we are the face of everything that's put out in social media that's negative. Okay, they'll be hesitant or barely put out the good stuff that you see people doing, like our people graduating and doctors and lawyers and people that are growing and prospering or building up their children's good fathers and those things. They care to put that to the side on the back burner, but you'll put up the dysfunctional stuff. But then when you see other races and other cultures doing dysfunctional stuff, you don't want to put their face out there, or you'll overlook it or brush it off, and that is something else. That's why judgment, okay? Judgment. That's why judgment comes, because that's like a hypocrite. You point the finger at everybody else, but then you do the same thing, but don't get the same time, don't get the same responses. As we know, we've seen throughout history, and this has been for me personally, and this has been for my people. We can't do what everybody else does and get away with it. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. Okay? Whether it be laws, whatever it is, we get the worst rep, stereotypes, the most time, um, so much add to the list. Okay. So with us knowing that, we have to walk differently. We have to move differently. Because like I said, it's affecting our generation. Okay, it's now generation. So we need our seasoned saints. We need our parents. We need uh, so many of us to get in place in your assignment because you help contribute to the growth process. You can't do it alone. We can't do it alone. It does take more than one person to help bring about change. But first, you have to work on changing yourself before you can help anybody else. You have to heal before you can be able to help anybody else because you got a lot of people that are bleeding and leaking that has gifts, callings, and talents, businesses, different things, but then you leaking out on your business or you leaking out on people, on your customer service and different things. So then it leaves a bad taste in somebody's mouth and they don't want to deal with you anymore. So now you have so many people that have the money, may have the help or the government assistance, or as far as the what is it, grants, loans, and different things, know how to work the system to get what they need, that can pass you by. I've seen so many people that are coming up, black folk that are so smart and talented in business that are out there that are giving advice, that are giving classes and tutorials and different things, and um, reaching out to different communities for everyone, but even especially for black folk to help you grow. But you, just like for me, for anybody, you have to sow into yourself and believe in yourself first. But then at the same time, you want help from somebody, it costs. It's like we want help and we want people to do stuff for us, but it's not going to be free. Pay people for their services. You pay everybody else. You'll go to Chick-fil-A, you'll go to the hair store, you'll buy J's, you'll do all these other things to accommodate yourself. But to accommodate your growth, you don't want to spend no money. Pay people for their services. If people take the time out to have something that can be of a benefit to you in growing your business, or whatever it is in your life, okay, pay them for their services. And if they help you, sow into people. Because that not only that takeover spirit, but that greedy spirit. You know, a lot of people got that greed spirit. Come on. For the love of money is the root of all evil. You got that greedy spirit where you want to take, but you don't want to give. You'll leech off of people for what they have to benefit yourself. You know, manipulate people to get to the next level. And these are people that we end up in relationships with, end up being friends with. Like I said, hurt people hurt people. So we end up being drawn to people with similar characteristics that we may have, to underlying issues that we ignore. So that's why it's so important to uh, self-reflect and see yourself. Okay, so you can have a prosperous business, so we can grow in our families. Because if you don't see yourself and the underlying issues that you have, that you choose not to see, it's going to affect your life. And I'm realizing that some people are okay with staying stuck. That's why I understand when some folks say new age slavery, where you're okay with staying stuck in the same mindset and you don't want to grow. That's what the enemy wants us to do. That's what this society and this system wants us to do. That's why the fight has been so real, because folk waking up and starting to see, even though they might be a little off a little bit with what they're seeing, not seeing clearly, or a little dimly or whatever, but still they waking up. Okay, they paying attention. But I know for one fact, only what we do for God is gonna matter. And then I know too, when we keep Him first, that's what's gonna change things. When we begin to take things into our own hands and think that we can do what everybody else does and get away with it, we can't. It's not gonna follow through. It's not gonna work. Okay, a lot of times we can hinder people instead of helping them. That's broad, whether it be in our families, on a job. You hinder people instead of helping them. We think by, I notice a lot of times by with parents or just even different people, where because of guilt or denial, will overcompensate for children, for family members, people on the job, like that woe is me pity thing, where we will overcompensate because we feel bad of maybe how you got raised, or because of things that may have affected you or hurted you. So instead of talking about it and discussing it, we'll overcompensate by using money, buying everything. We'll see people where they will take care of the grandkids, live through the grandkids because maybe they didn't do as well with the children. They'll try to, instead of talking about it, so it's like underlining issues instead of talking about it. So then we see the same patterns and cycles happening over and over again. So now we have a lot of premature adults. So what is premature? Not fully developed. Um, if you have a premature baby, it wasn't time yet for them to go out or to come out of the womb. They came out early. We have a lot of people that, and then, certain things don't develop, in the brain, how they think, their functioning, certain body parts haven't fully developed when a premature baby comes out. So that's just the same thing as us as adults, where we get pushed out into adulthood prematurely when you're not even ready because you weren't properly taught. Okay, but you growing in age. So then, like I said, when we overcompensate, and like I said, don't discredit no parents. It's real, especially all of us that are parents, realizing that it's not easy. You do the best that you can do according to your capacity. Okay, because life will teach you, baby. Life will teach you. And we don't all respond the same. You can have a household of brothers and sisters, and all of them be different on how their household affected them, how their environment affected them. Many of us know that. You may have one that's doing well, one that's struggling. You may have another one's doing this doing that. Everybody responds differently, and everything it affects each individual differently. So that's a part of, like I say, some stuff can be premature. Some people be go-getters and work hard and can get to it and may have suffered and went through stuff. But you might have somebody else, they about to break down and lose their mind, can't handle life. So it is a difference. But when we don't recognize that, now we got a lot of premature babies out here. So we got a lot of premature adults that are raising premature children. They're not really developed. They haven't gotten the proper keys to get them throughout life. So now it's a lot of dysfunction. So what they say, you got children having children. So direction was needed, order. So many things were out of order. So how can you teach or tell somebody else how to do something when you out of order? So that's why I say God cleans us up first and sends us out. So he has to restore and bring back order to the church, to our homes, everywhere, the jobs, everything, bringing it back to order, because all of these things affect every aspect of our lives. So then we're expecting, like I said, by default, people just to know how to live, how to function, how to be a mother, how to be a father. How can you be something that you may have possibly didn't have? If you were deficient in certain areas of having a proper mother or a proper father, or what you needed to be what you are, how can you be that? It's a possibility that you still can, because we see it all the time. But then it's a possibility that you're going to have deficits, that you're going to have issues. So then when we go on our jobs and different things, people trying to figure out, they don't understand. It doesn't make sense. How this person can think like this. But this goes for across the board, all different races, all different cultures. So now we're starting to see the impact. Okay. I gave examples of the impact could be like a crash or a collision. Okay. And then it also can be how you impact somebody's life, positive or negative. So sometimes when you're going through things or you dealing with stuff, you might just end up meeting the right person at the right time, or the wrong person at the right time, vice versa, that you needed, or that you felt that you needed or wanted, that was going through the same thing, that honestly ended up bringing about confusion, dysfunction, and setbacks. Okay. It's important to strive to be consistent in your assignment. It's so much going on right now, y'all, and we missing it. Many people are missing it. And like I said, that's the biggest thing that I've been seeing, and even just with different things God has been teaching me and allowing me to recognize and see. It's too many people that's seeking praise and approval from people, praises from men. Admiration and affirmation, acceptance. And that comes from because of things where we were deficient, areas that we were deficient in. So when you become to seek approval unconsciously, you begin to not only overcompensate, but you begin to give out the wrong example to people. Okay, because I'm seeing so many people that like I said, it's like you think you gods. And I said it's a lot of things that we've gotten indirectly through things that we've experienced, to where so many people are so flashy. They're looking for attention, but behind the scene, you can see that they got issues. So if you have to overdo it and overcompensate in that way, that's something that needs to be addressed. Um, that we keep looking at throughout our families and stuff. It's serious. And I know this video was like a little bit all over the place, y'all. It's Monday. It's Monday. But anywho, one of the things that came to me was the fights between light and darkness and good and evil. Okay. The spiritual warfare, just the heightened of so many things that we're seeing that's going on right now. So it's not by coincidence, the things that we're even seeing more transparent right now. It's very vital that we stay focused and not get sidetracked in the process of this life, because like I said, we are transitioning into 2022. It's right around the corner. Okay. I mentioned before, what we do now sets the tone for next year. Okay. We don't have time to stay stuck in that woe is me, that what is it, strong delusions, because folk will get left. You know, I love everybody, but it's at a point now where either you're going to get it or you're not going to get it, because there's people out there that need you. Okay. We need role models. We need examples. We need seasoned people, that are healing, that are growing, that can help in different areas. But when you have so many people that are just consumed with social media, consumed with the ideal of how people see them. And it's more so, like I said, one admiration, wanting to be accepted. That's really what it all boils down to. Wanting acceptance, wanting people to follow after them. I tell folks, follow me as I follow Christ. Follow me as I follow Christ. And it ain't even about the followers. We get caught up in that. So I was reading this article earlier, and it was talking about violent people trying to take over the kingdom of heaven by force. So the scripture that came to me was, let me see, Matthew 11 and 12. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. So with me reading that scripture and this little piece that came from the article, basically people, the enemy, striving to take over the kingdom of heaven. It's a fight between light and darkness, good and evil. We know nobody has to teach you wrong. Nobody has to teach you to lie. Any of the above. We were born into sin and shaped into iniquity. So from day one, as soon as you touch down and come into this world, the enemy is busy. At the same time, God is working too behind the scenes, but he's striving to make so many obstacles and dysfunctions through our parents, through our environment, through influence, to have us so messed up and dysfunctional where we lead to destruction from different pathways, from different traumatic experiences, those little things that can keep us stuck, throughout life, and not realizing it seems harmless. It seems like nothing. It seems like it's nothing wrong with it. But at the end of the day, it's leading us to destruction. So we seeing dysfunctional stuff in families, with men and women, like just all kind of stuff, y'all. And we thinking it doesn't affect our children, the dysfunction part. So now, like, that role reversal is so transparent and real that we're seeing in our families, where you're having more women that are so strong and stronger and more men that are more passive. Women are passive too, though, but from the aspect of us needing strong role models as far as our men. And we do have some, because I know some. Okay. So not discrediting our men. We need our men, but especially in the Black communities, we need y'all. Okay. As a whole. And that's the thing I said, we have to remember that we all have a part to play. We all have a part to play, but you have a part to play in your own personal development. Okay, because there's so many people that's getting stuck on this me and mine's. Okay, sharing is caring. Okay, sharing is caring. So this mindset of being stuck on, I only want my family to do it. You can do that. You have that choice. But then you have to think about things affect us as a whole, as a body. Okay, that's in our families, that's in our race, that's in our cultures, that's in the body of Christ. Okay, we're affected as a whole, and we're affected individually. So what you may think, thank you, Holy Spirit, it came to me with some things where, because I experienced or saw church hurts, or experienced hurt and pain from different areas or different things that I had encountered, it taught me and showed me at the same time how to guard my heart. So when I would see it happen, how people would get church hurts, or the things that I dealt with in some of my own personal relationships or life experiences, I recognized it when I saw it in other areas or people that I met. Okay, everything affects everybody differently, like I said. So what may push some people away from the church, okay, I get it and I understand. So we have to be mindful of how we move in the church, how we move uh, in business, in our families' lives, because it affects people. So then we have some people, like I said, revisiting stuff, that have become selfish and self-absorbed, where you'll want to teach people, you'll want to be examples and role models, but because you don't deal with your underlying issues, when it affects somebody, you'll be like, whatever, whatever. You're accountable for that. Even though that person is still accountable for their part, because they are accountable for their own personal development, that still does not uh, stop the fact of your contributions to how they think now, how they function, how you may have impacted their life positively or negatively. So we don't think about that a lot of times. Like I said, either we can help or we can hinder in our relationships, in our experiences, in our encounters, how we treat people. So then you become selfish. So now it lets me know again, is it all about you? So did you not really care about how you displayed yourself, how you carried yourself, how people saw you, how you made people feel? And I'm saying to a certain extent, okay, there's levels to it. It makes a difference. So that's why I say, do you really know what loyalty is? Because people will be quick to holler loyalty and having people back and this, that, and the third. But then are you really displaying loyalty yourself? Are you really being supportive and having others people back? Are you really who you say you really are? Because it's a lot of counterfeit people out here that were polished up and that are polished up and very articulate and very knowing of everything. But then it doesn't match your actions. So you're talking the talk, but you're not walking the walk. So as believers, we can recognize it as a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. So what you're saying doesn't match what you're doing. So then that brings about confusion. But then we'll say, well, I'm perfect. Nobody's perfect. But you put yourself on a pedestal. When you put yourself on a pedestal like you greater than every, you don't have to say it, your actions speak it. So then we can see that displayed in your business. We can see it displayed in your ministry. We can see it displayed in your home, in your family, in your friendships, everything. So when we begin to show those characteristics, then that's what I mean, like the flood. It's flooding and running over into our personal lives, business, everything else. So that's why it's important for us to self-reflect and see ourselves. You have the choice not to. But then when somebody would tell you, you bougie, or you funny acting, or they don't care to be around you, or you're not personable, or something about you that just doesn't sit well with me, or people begin to distance themselves from you. Sometimes it's not always those people. They might be a little special and may have said it in a way that might have hurt your feelings or whatever, but sometimes it has some truth to it. It may just be that. We've all had those situations where we've had to self-reflect and check ourselves. We've all had family members, whether we've been that way ourselves, friends, coworkers, that they think they all that. They treat you different. They walk around like they don't do nothing wrong. And then sometimes people aren't really like that. So it just depends. That's why I say don't judge a book by its cover. 1 John 2:27. As for you, the anointing you are received from him remains in you. You do not need anyone to teach you, but as his anointing teaches you all things, as that anointing is real, not counterfeit. Just as it has taught you, remain in him. So basically that was talking about, I hear people say, and the subheading was warnings against denying the Son, which is Jesus Christ. Things that we learn in life through situations, circumstances, and occurrences or whatever. When I begin to seek God and go to church, or just learning from people directly and indirectly, I begin to get confirmation. So it's things that I had already been taught or learned, or things that God showed me or recognized, or things that I experienced in my life. But when I had certain clarity through whether it be a preacher, a teacher, somebody I met from a job or whatever, it was confirmation. So many things I said, as believers, the Holy Spirit will teach us and direct our paths. Like I said, we seek help, we seek guidance, we seek counsel. But God, I told y'all this. Jesus is the realest teacher, the realest teacher I have ever had. I will ever have. We seek counsel, we seek help in different areas, and you need that. I'm not discrediting that. You need to seek counsel. We need teachers. We need to learn and understand. But God will still he allows the Holy Spirit to teach and guide us, so that when we do learn stuff, we can know, okay, is this right? This isn't wrong. Let me research this. Or even getting that feeling like, oh, they said that might not feel a little off. That might not be right. But he still teaches us. So then we learn stuff, whether it be in church or from people or other things. Sometimes it's confirmation, or it's helping us to get clarity, get wisdom and knowledge. And as a result, first and foremost, understanding what we're learning, understanding our experiences, understanding how to live, how to function. I'm gonna say this: God messed up, and I'm saying it in a good way. He allowed me to he impacted my life, but then allowed me to get vision. He allowed me to experience some things on a whole nother level. So now I'm like, what do I have to lose? Okay. But all those different things that he's been teaching me and still teaching me, I apply it to my everyday life. That's why I say this is one of the best jobs I've ever had. Okay. It's not easy, but it's one of the best because I can be me. So from different things that I've experienced through relationships, through friendships, hits, impacts, crash course, so many different things, I'm able to use it in this business. So even when I've met people throughout life and even at the event, so many people that are going through stuff, they're just trying to make it. Black, white, Puerto Rican, let's go all different races. How God can use who he wants to use. But when you're so thick, or you're so you portray yourself to be so perfect, and you're not teachable or relatable or personable, it's like a repel. Okay, like a you know how magnets, they draw, but like some people will repel from you because, like I said, that aroma, how you carry yourself and how you act, is just like a stink. Just something about you will push people away from you. So we have some people that are drawn to us, and some people that are drawn away from us, and that can mean, depending on the spirit behind them, it could depend on similarities and differences or whatever, how we're drawn to each other. And just as God will send people, Satan will send people too. So a lot of the things we have to do is self-reflect and see ourselves, because we're seeing in our families that's flowing over into other things that you would like this in before. So like when I say even people that I had to deal with over this process of having this event, they already knew me. They know me. Some maybe thought they knew me as well. They didn't know me as well as they thought they did. But when you have encounters with people, you should know exactly who they are by their actions, how they carry themselves, whether it be loyalty, consistency, whatever it is. So like I said, some people be taken back when you really have to show them. I had a lot of people that had that, what is it, Lord? Not that take back spirit, but that's what it is. Take back. I'm having that take back spirit. I told you people was having that take over spirit, where they want to take over everything. We're seeing the enemy want to take over everything. I'm taking that take back. Okay. Take back that everything the enemy stole, take it on back, because people have gotten comfortable with just business as usual, the same dysfunctional stuff, the same foolishness. I've gotten tired. Okay, I've gotten tired. I might got some bags under my eyes too, but I've gotten tired of all of that foolishness. Okay, so God has been connecting me to people that can help support in the movement as far as not just my stuff in general, because you want people around you that got your back, that really are loyal, that really are committed to being of a help to you. Because we seeing too much dysfunctional stuff and folk just comfortable. They're comfortable in it. They don't want to take the mirror and look at themselves, but then they're confused when their kids are battling stuff, or they're battling stuff in relationships or dysfunctional. I'm like, 1+1 is 2. What else is gonna come from this? Like, I had to tell people, what were you expecting? Like, even when I was just doing the event, I'm like, what was you expecting? What are you trying to do? Because we're not on the same page. We need to be on one accord in everything that we do. I want everything done decently and in order. Like I said, too many people. You got what they say, too many chiefs or honchos, whatever you want to call, too many bosses, and nobody wants to be no. Okay, too many teachers, and nobody wants to be a student. Okay, you have to be, even the teacher gets taught. Okay, even the teacher gets taught. Even what they say, the therapist needs therapy, the doctor needs a doctor, the counselor needs a counselor. Everybody still needs to be teachable in your life. So when you get so thick to where can't nobody talk to you or teach you, or you a know-it-all, I repel. I have to repel, because even me, throughout this process, I'm learning as I go, still being teachable. I told you, when your heart is right, those are the ones that God is using. Those are the ones that God is pushing forward. And they may look different. They may dress different. They may sound different. It's from unexpected places. People that you may have never thought. What does the word say? The last shall be first and the first shall be last. So then we're surprised when we seeing people that were hidden in plain sight, that you may have known, that may have played an episode in your life in that season, that may have had a direct uh what is it, limelight, or whatever you want to call it, in your life. He may be using them. They were significant for a reason, just only in God's timing. It seemed like somebody, oh, you might have just went to school with, or somebody you knew from back home. But then I'm starting to see people that were hidden in plain sight, that's being pushed to the forefront, that God is using. So I said, people would think that they know you, but they don't know you like they think they did. But now you're surprised, because I always had a mouth. I was always blunt. Okay, certain characteristics that you may have, you've been like that. I told you, God will polish you up, clean you up, polish you up, and send you out. That's what he does. So I can still be me. He just polishes it up, cleans it up. And one thing I've learned, he's continued to do, he corrects me. If I'm wrong, he corrects me. Okay, I own my stuff. So many people want to be so perfect and put out a persona to everybody that you are perfect. You are not. This system, people, everybody. I told you, only Jesus Christ is perfect. Okay, so sometimes you have to, and God has been using me through my business and transition into the entrepreneurship, the transparency part, because I was seeking counsel and teachers, and even us through relationships, we'll be seeking and wanting love or friendships or different things, and we seek stuff and we'll find it. We will. It may not be always what we wanted or we bit off or wanted to chew. That's why we end up in mess and dirty, and people end up and dysfunctional stuff, on drugs, go left and all that stuff, because we were seeking, we were looking for something. We were looking for something. And because people around us may have not had the ability or the capacity to teach us what we need to be taught, or give us what we needed to have, whether it been love, the proper love, affection, the time. Okay. So then we have so many people, like I said, premature, that just got thrown out there in the water and had to learn how to swim. And some folk drowning. Some folk drowning. So that's the part where he will place in your heart a compassion, a love. He already put it in you when he created you. So he used those things that he equipped you with, and use your whole life to be of an example, to be of a part of the process. So we'll feel like we're ill-equipped. I'm not prepared. I can't do this. I don't want to, this, that. We have all these excuses, but he's already equipped us with everything that we need. I was already connected to people already that were going to be of a help to the business aspect, different aspects of my life, even with my children, whatever it was. Everybody was already in place. Significant people, different people that he used from me to learn from and from others to learn from me in a time and in a season. So in God's timing, he will push those people a little bit closer, okay, for you to get to where you need to be. So many times we're looking all over for connections. We're looking for people to help us. But all this time you didn't even know you had everything that you needed. It was just gaining access to it. But can God trust what he places in your hands? So even with me doing this event, dealing with all the obstacles, the frustrations. Look, I ain't gonna lie, we keep it all in 100. I wanted to cancel it. I was tired. Can you finish what you started? That's what he was dealing with me. Finish what you started. Can I give you an assignment and give you directions, or can you follow directions? Can you follow directions? Because it was so easily to get distracted and do what other people wanted me to do. But can you stick to what I gave you? Follow through. It wasn't easy. So that's on a broad aspect for all of you. If God places something in your hands, can he trust that you're gonna do it wholeheartedly, sincerely? Are you gonna be loyal? Like, first of all, you're gonna be loyal to him. Because I told you I was taught and learned loyalty before I even really was even thinking about it. Okay? Because there's a lot of people that are saying that you one thing and you're really not. You don't even know what loyalty is. Okay, really, you a counterfeit. It's a lot of counterfeit people out here. You talking that talk and it sounds real good, got that real talk game. Look, player, manipulating folk, and you're not really what you say you are. So we see that in the job, we see it in our families. You talk that talk, but you're not doing it. So now I can't trust you. You're not worthy. So this is why I ride with Jesus Christ, because he's been there from day one. When I even look back over my life, how much he has impacted my life. Come on, my greatest impacts came from him. So through him using me and dealing with me, he taught me how to love properly. He taught me through my life experiences how to have unconditional love, how to not judge a book by its cover, because I was dusty. I have my own issues and mess. So how can I talk about somebody else? I ain't there to judge. Even though I don't condone everything, I'm not there to judge. So he used my life. Jesus in the Bible, he used parables, right? He used parables throughout the Bible to help people get the lesson. God will use your life experiences, circumstances to help get the lesson across to you through warnings, through encounters, to try and help you to get the lesson to draw you closer to him. Some fall away and some draw closer. Okay. I chose to draw closer. Many are called, but few are chosen. I chose to stop running. Okay. I chose to stop running. I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for it. I didn't ask for it. But when you sign up for it, you did. But he chose me and I chose him back. So it makes a difference on, like I said, how you impact people's lives, how you impact your family. It's many of you that God has designated, chosen you to be the one. Come on, my black folk, to be of a help as a vessel to help bring your family out, to help break generational curses, to help him use you to restore and bring about generational wealth. Okay, we want all of these things, but we don't want to do the work. People don't want to take what it costs to get there. People want to be rich overnight. I told y'all I'm already rich. I was rich through the keys and the lessons that he gave me. So that means when you actually get the manifestations, come on, you know how to handle it. You know how to be a blessing to other people. You know how when to say no. Because, sometimes a lot of us, we're givers because of our heart. We give, but you have to learn when to say no too. And it's all out of love. You have to learn from it. So how he will use every aspect of your life, the good and the bad, the ugly, the hurt, the pain. If you allow him to teach you through that, then he will send people directly and indirectly to help teach you also, in a good way and a bad way. We have people that we learn from on our jobs. We learn what to do and what not to do in every aspect of our life. That's what I've learned to do. I've seen people that have had that block, that are special, that treated me wrong, that did me wrong, in relationships, friendships. But what it taught me was the right way and the wrong way. Treat people how you want to be treated. Of all things, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. So even how when I can go to work and take care of somebody, regardless if they my race, my color, how they treat me, I treat them how I want to be treated. I think about if it was my mama or my daddy or my grandma or my child. That's how I treat people. Because many times we want what we don't give. We'll go to restaurants, we'll go to stores, we'll treat the trash people, different people. You disrespect them and treat them any kind of way, but then you demand respect. So we living in a society and a generation that's demanding respect, that demand people do them the way they should be treated and all that other stuff. But you don't even give that off. So then we begin to see again the hypocrisy throughout the world, where it depends on your race, your color, your religion, on how you're treated. That's not right, right? But then we're confused at all of these manifestations that are coming because we didn't want to see things for what they really are. I don't know, this was a long video. Y'all have been talking. I guess I needed to just talk this morning. I guess I needed to just talk this morning. But anywho, the summary of all of this is, as I said, the impact was before the impact as far as the actual outreach event. Okay. We have so many things that have impacted our lives positively and negatively through influence. Okay. So it makes a difference on who impacts our lives, what impacts our lives. And you have the choice to make the decision if you're going to allow it to shape you into a negative way, if you're going to let it make you or break you. We doing breakthrough or breakdown, okay? You are responsible for your own personal development. You can continue to blame other people for your mishaps for life, and they do have contributions to it. But you make the decision to want to do better, to want to change, to be that person that makes a difference. And God will send the people around you, the connections that you need, the support that you need. And it's not always from places that you're going to expect it from, or people you're going to expect it from. So don't discredit small beginnings. Don't discredit who God sends just because they may not look like what you think they were going to look like or dress like you think they were going to dress. Because God can use anybody to be of a blessing in your life. So you all be blessed. Have a wonderful day. Keep pushing, keep pressing, continue to grow and mature. Because as I said, we don't want no more premature babies and premature adults that do not want to develop and grow or see clearly, because it's causing dysfunction and chaos. It's adding dysfunction and chaos. So y'all be blessed. Have a wonderful day. I will be talking to y'all soon. This is Angelica with In God's Timing. I know this was a little long, a little different, but y'all be blessed. Thank y'all for who tuned in, who watched, who subscribed, who support. And what God is doing in this season in each and every one of our lives. God bless y'all, and I will talk to y'all soon.